Welcome, my beautiful people. Fernando David here. And on this Airbnb tip, I'm going to give you 3 tips that will help you generate more revenue for your Airbnb. The first one, which is probably the most important, one that I've been preaching for a long time, and yet less than 5% of you have taken advantage of, and that is allowing pets on your property. Turn your Airbnb or short-term rental into a pet-friendly rental. It is huge, people. I'm going to give you some numbers as to why this is important. First and foremost, it's demand, right? In the last couple of years, if you look at what's trending in searches for short-term rentals, one of the biggest trends is pet-friendly properties. It is up by 55%, people, 55%. Let that number sink in. If you're not pet-friendly, you're losing out on a lot of potential travelers. Number 2, if you have a pet-friendly property, you can demand more money. There was a statistic or an article that came out on Travelocity. And Travelocity, in that article, dog owners said, or 50% of the dog owners said that they were willing to pay more money to stay in the pet-friendly rental and or hotel. That's big, people. Next one I already mentioned is if you do turn your property into a pet-friendly property, you have less competition. I've already mentioned less than 5% of Airbnb hosts or Airbnb properties are pet-friendly. That's big. And the last one, and this relates to customer experience and better reviews. As a pet-friendly property, the consumer has a tendency to have a better experience because they're with their pet. Again, I've been preaching this for a while, and yet I'm still shocked that there's less than 5% of you out there allowing pets on your property, but it is a big, big, big way to increase revenue. The second one, not as big, but just as profitable, is if you can allow for either late checkouts or early check-ins and charge for that. It's not often possible. Like, for example, we're extremely busy and we often have a checkout and a check-in on the same day, so we can't allow for that. But when it is possible, allow for it and charge the guest. The next one, it's not related to any of that other than the fact that if you currently are using some type of pricing tool, use it only as a tool, people. Don't depend on that pricing tool. And especially if you're using smart pricing on Airbnb. I find out through my experience, that is the worst tool that you can use. If you're doing this for a living, if you're doing this to be profitable, my suggestion to you is to learn the market. Understand your specific market. There's a couple of things that you really need to do and take advantage of. For example, smart pricing, AirDNA, all these pricing tools don't take a lot of stuff into account. One of the biggest things they don't take into account is events in your area. So for example, in Fort Lauderdale, the boat show, the boat parade, Air and Sea show, Tortuga, these are huge events that are not accounted for in AirDNA or Airbnb smart pricing. The fact that I know that, the fact that there's a lot of demand during that time, I manually change those dates and really truly double my pricing because it calls for that. And you're going to miss out on that if you solely rely on smart pricing. The other reason why I hate that is because it causes you to be lazy. Most people will put that out and then just forget about it, and they get lazy and don't start keeping track of what the demands are for your property. Don't be lazy. If you're doing this as a profession, be professional. Be an expert in your market. If you're an expert in your market, you don't need smart pricing or you don't need AirDNA. So those are my tips. Hope they help. If they did, do me a huge favor. Subscribe, like, share, and follow us on Instagram. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.